1. Hook. Imagine launching your startup on AWS, only to find your costs ballooning overnight. How do you avoid that? 2. The real problem. Starting with AWS can feel overwhelming. It's crucial to have a clear roadmap to avoid wasting time and money. The goal is to build a solid foundation while avoiding common pitfalls. 3. The simple explanation. Learning AWS boils down to a few core concepts. First, understand the cloud computing model: infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, and software as a service. AWS offers services in all these areas, but you need to know which ones fit your needs. Next, focus on foundational services: EC2 for computing power, S3 for storage, RDS for databases, IAM for security. These services are the building blocks of any AWS application. Once you grasp these, you can expand into more complex services like Lambda or DynamoDB. 4. Real-world example. Let's say you're building a new application for a startup. You decide to deploy a web app that needs to handle 10,000 users a month. You choose EC2 to host your application and S3 for storing user-uploaded content. Initially, you estimate that an T2.micro instance would be sufficient, costing around $8.50 a month. However, after 1 month, you notice that your app is running slowly during peak hours. You check the metrics and realize you're hitting 80% CPU utilization. You quickly switch to a T2.medium instance, which costs about $34 a month. This decision improves performance, but it also doubles your costs. You didn't set up CloudWatch alarms to monitor CPU usage in real time, so you didn't catch this sooner. This example illustrates the importance of monitoring and scaling appropriately to avoid cost overruns while ensuring good performance. 5. What to do instead. Here's how to effectively learn AWS. Step 1. Set clear goals. Determine what you want to achieve with AWS. Is it hosting a website, storing data, or building a mobile backend? Having a clear project in mind will guide your learning. Step 2. Start with the AWS free tier. Sign up for the AWS free tier. This gives you free access to many services for 12 months. It's an excellent way to experiment without incurring costs. Step 3. Learn the basics. Begin with online courses tailored for beginners. Look for courses that cover EC2, S3, RDS, IAM. Use platforms like Coursera, Udemy, or AWS Training. Step 4. Build a simple project. Create a basic web application. Use EC2 to host it, S3 for file storage, and RDS for the database. This hands-on experience reinforces what you learn. Step 5. Monitor and optimize. Set up CloudWatch for monitoring performance metrics. Create alarms for CPU usage at 70%. If you hit that threshold, consider scaling your instance. Step 6. Explore advanced features. Once comfortable, dive into services like Lambda for serverless architecture and API Gateway for managing APIs. Experiment to see how they can simplify your architecture. Step 7. Join the community. Engage in AWS forums, Reddit, and LinkedIn groups. Networking with other learners and professionals will provide insights and real-world tips. 6. Common mistakes. Mistake 1. Ignoring the free tier limits. Many new users think everything is free. Check the limits. For example, S3 has limits on storage and requests. Exceeding these can lead to unexpected costs. Fix. Regularly monitor your usage metrics in the AWS billing dashboard. Mistake 2. Not utilizing IAM properly. New users often use root accounts for everything. This is a major security risk. Fix. Create individual IAM roles with the least privilege necessary for each user. Mistake 3. Skipping documentation. Many skip AWS documentation, thinking it's too complicated. But it's the most reliable source of information. Fix. Refer to the official AWS documentation for every service you use, especially for pricing models. Mistake 4. Poor resource management. Launching resources and forgetting about them leads to unnecessary costs. Fix. Regularly review your AWS resources and terminate what you don't need. Mistake 5. Not planning for scaling. Some underestimate the demand their applications will face. Fix. Design your application with scaling in mind. Use auto-scaling groups to manage load automatically. 7. Quick checklist as you embark on your AWS learning journey. Keep this checklist handy. Set clear goals for your AWS use. Sign up for the AWS free tier. Complete at least one beginner course. Build and deploy a simple project. Set up CloudWatch monitoring with alarms. Engage in community discussions. Regularly check your AWS usage and costs. 8. Summary plus CTA. Learning AWS can be straightforward if you follow a structured approach. Start with clear goals, leverage the free tier, and build real projects. Monitor your resources and engage with the community for ongoing support. If you found this guide helpful, drop a comment below and let me know your learning goals. Don't forget to subscribe for more practical tech insights. Let's conquer AWS together.